Outer Orange.
This is my card recorder screen, and today we're going to talk about Kyoka. So this is a very underrated, in my opinion, lyrical deck. I think out of all the lyrical decks out there, people don't really test this one too much, and I actually spent a good, around a month on this deck, just kind of playing it. I dropped for Tia for a little bit just so I could focus on this deck, and I actually really like it, so today I wanted to make a little video on it, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So this is Kyoka, and before I do that, let's go ahead and talk about my sleeves. I'm running the Love is War Christmas sleeves for the Bride deck, and then for the main ones, I've recently found these interesting Yu-Gi-Oh sleeves. So I've actually been running a lot of my decks in these, one of my recent decks, and then actually the same people who made the sleeves made this deck box that I'm currently using. It's not my favorite, but it's all right. Starting with the 0, it could be whatever you want it to be. This one does not care. So luckily enough, you can fool your opponents with your 0 starter power. Next, we have the Kyoka Grade 1. This is ready to go Kyoka. She says when she's run upon by the Grade 2 Kyoka, you declare a grade, and then you look at 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. So 1, 2, or 3, and then you pick out of 5 cards, and you pick up one whatever you declared, and you get it. So pretty much the best way to explain it, you go, you ride to your 2, and then you go, I declare grade 1, and then you look at top 5, you grab a grade 1, and then you grab it and put it into your hand. You can also declare, you can also grab a magazine, I believe. You can also grab a magazine instead, so you can grab the magazine card over the declared card as well. And then when you ride to 2, again, nothing, it's just this effect that activates, but you do want the Kyoka grade 2, and then from 2 to 3. When you go on in, the grade 2 says, when run upon by grade 3 Kyoka and its card name, you can choose up to 1 magazine card from your drop and add it to hand. If you don't do that, you can carry blast and directly search for a magazine. So you can choose to do either one. And the magazine cards look like this. These are the magazines. There's 1 right now. There might be more in the future, but right now there's just the 1 and 4 copies. And this is pretty much your big fuel of the engine. The big fuel of the deck. You want this as your main component. I used to think this card sucks, and I realized it's actually not that bad at all. And yeah, that's pretty much the ride line right here. So the grade 3 says Soap Blast. You declare grade exactly similar to this card. The only difference is you call it to the board. So this one you put to hand, this one you call to the board. So you declare your grade, then you call it to the board, and then that's pretty much it. Choose the magazine and also put it into your hand. So ideally what you want to do is you want to declare cards that you don't think you're going to see, and then you're going to try and find them and then deck them further, and to pretty much get your combo pieces to try and finish the deck. Now this whole deck revolves around this grade 1 order right here, which we're going to get into right now. We're going to put our ride line to the side. We're going to go ahead and talk about the orders. There's only just these. So let's talk about this magazine. It's called Lyrical Shooting Stars. So skill says you play it if you have Vanguard with Kyoka's card name, which is another reason why you actually want to run all 4 as Kyoka, because you can do this on grade 1, 2, and 3. So it says if you have 2 grade, you activate all the following below according to number of units you have. So if you have 2 or more grade 1s, you draw 2, discard 1. If you have 2 or more grade 2s, you choose 1 units, give it 10k. And if you have 2 or more grade 3s, then you countercharge. So ideally what you want to do is you want to have, it includes your Vanguard, by the way, so you always want to have 2 1s and 2 2s. The 3 condition is as mandatory, but the 2 1s and the 2 2s is very mandatory. So ideally that's what you want to do, and you can start this as early as your grade 2 turn. You do it on your grade 1 turn too if you want. Usually you don't want to do it that early, but you do want to do it on starting on your grade 2 turn. You want to start really drawing and going through your deck, and you can actually early rush with 2 grade 2s because your Vanguard's a grade 2, and then you can put 2 grade 1s down, and it works really well, and you just kind of start rushing very quickly. So let's go ahead and talk about sort of the grade 3s. You want to run Persona. Persona is, just important. I used to run a Chalice in here. I actually took it out. I didn't really like the Chalice. You can run the Chalice. You can cut back on, if you want to run the Chalice, you can cut back on one of these. This is my other grade 3 slot. You can make this into a Chalice and make this pretty much a 4th copy of this if you want. That's perfectly fine. That's pretty much what I had, and I didn't like the Chalice, so I should Chalice out. I run this as her skill says if you played in a normal order this turn, then she gets boost. So ideally this is your other grade 3 condition for your Lyrical Shooting Stars. So that's what you'll be doing here. And that's pretty much it for the grade 3s. You have your Persona, you have your booster girl. Usually, ideally, you'll have your Vanguard, you'll have her behind, and you'll always be boosting for a pretty nice number. So that's how that works. And then going to the 2s, we have the 4 Melty. Melty is actually pretty good in this deck, so sorry for you guys that that don't want to run her. She's pretty good in this deck. You can run other generic grade 2s that maybe have some kind of power buff or something. I can't really think of one off the top of my head, but this is probably the best one to run, as she lets you go through your deck a little bit faster. And then your next grade 2 after that is actually the grade 2 that works with Kyoka. This is Archie. And Melty, just in case you don't know, on place in main phase, Counter Blast, call card, draw card, and then this is your multi-attack extender. So she says if you play an order at any time during your turn, she gets 5k power, and this is not restricted to any grade or anything like that, so you can use it on turn 2. And the order skill says at the end of the battle, your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacked. If you played a magazine this turn, you can counter blast the West Free Standard. So ideally, you want to have 2 of these, and you swing with both of them. and then you swing with Kyoka, and then after Kyoka's done swinging, you restand both of these. But they're not restricted to your opponent being Great Theory or greater. You can do this as long as it's your Great Theory or greater Vanguard that attacked. You can pretty much use this effect, which is actually pretty cool. So ideally, you can attack 5 times, pretty much all the time, as long as you have both of these cards active. Keep in mind, this deck is a little sustainable to retire. Retire does hurt it a little bit, but ideally, you want to get these cards as soon as possible. You want to find them as soon as possible, and you want to start applying pressure because they're 15Ks on their own, and then plus the lyrical shooting stars usually put 10K. You usually put a 10K on one of them, making it a 25K attacker, and then a persona to 35K attacker. They just get really big. The soul can be a little costly though, so you have to be very cautious when you want to use this counterblast. I mean the soul blast specifically. The counterblast, you'll probably get it back with this, but the soul blast, it will be a lot harder to get back. So you definitely want to be careful on the soul, but ideally you just want to apply pressure as fast as possible and then kill your opponent, and then just just restand a lot. They're very strong. Archie's very solid. And then next, let's go into the grade 1s. I run 4 Eileen. I think Eileen is just really good in this deck. It's one deck. You're seeing extra cards, which makes it easier for you to declare when you're doing the ride line skills or when you're doing Kyoka's skill here. So you always want to know what you're doing, and this just lets you go through your deck faster. So I run Eileen for that very reason. And then along with Eileen, I run the Kyoka support. So this is Ludamia. Ludamia says, if you have a Great Theory or greater Vanguard with Kyoka in his card name, you can put this card into Soul and then take a Grade 2 or greater from your drop and stack it on top. So essentially, this will force you to have whatever you declare with this. This will guarantee you the declared card. So say you put a 2 or 3 on top. It can't be Persona, by the way. It can't put Persona. It says it can't be the same name as your Vanguard. So ideally, you can get anything but Persona. So what you want to do is you want to put this on top, and then say people sniped your grade 2s, then you put the grade 2 on top, and boom, bam, you declare a grade 2, and then you grab that grade 2, and you're good to go. Or you can just stack it just to stack it. I don't know, maybe you just feel like stacking it. I don't know, but ideally you just want to stack it. The soul is actually very important too. Sometimes you want to use the soul just for the soul condition specifically, so you actually just shove her into soul just to get the soul to go off and then restand Kyoka. So sometimes you will do the Archies, so that's why you'll have this. And then last but not least, I run 1 Jennifer. This is your clutch emergency button card. Ideally what she says is if you have 4 more units, you discard a card, and then you choose an order from your drop zone, normal order, and you play it. So, and instead it goes to the bottom of your deck instead of like going anywhere else, and pretty much what you do is just play one of these. This is like the emergency button in case everything goes wrong. You just use Jennifer instead, and you pretty much just get your lyrical shooting stars to get from your drop, which is very good. This card does come up a lot, and yeah, you definitely want to use this. Also, something I want to note, grade 1s are pretty important in this deck. I'm gonna put the PGs down here too. You'll notice I have a lot of grade 1s. You kind of want to, because when you declare 1, you can actually declare and grab a perfect guard too, especially with the early effect. Early on, you can grab it to hand, so you can actually have a perfect guard to hand, which is pretty massive, by the way. So getting grade 1s is pretty good, especially since the lyrical shooting stars skill, the draw 2 discard, is actually really strong. You're constantly plussing, and then on top of that with Melty, you'll pretty much just be plussing like crazy and just going through your deck really fast. So that's ideally why you want to run more grade 1s than anything else. You'll notice that's why my 2s are 8s. Why I have 8 grade 2s and why I have less grade 3s is because the grade 1 slot needs to be used. It's the strongest effect on this order. The other effects are good, but the drawing is definitely the best effect. So you definitely want to maximize your grade 1s as much as possible. While I'm here, I did show the perfect guards. You can change this to a regular PG if you want, but you know, Blitz order is fine too. For the triggers, I'm running kind of weird triggers. I'm running 4 fronts, and then I'm running 7 of the regular crits, and then 7 of the regular crits, 1 OT, and 4 heals. I will say, in the crit slot, you definitely want to run crit specifically. I don't have enough copies, but I would highly recommend running this at 4. You do go through your soul quite a bit sometimes, and sometimes you just need it on the board, but it's really hard to have this on the board because you do want to meet the lyrical shooting condition. So you do want to make sure you meet the condition, right? So sometimes you won't call this out, but in desperate needs, you may need to call this out just so you can have the condition soul, the soul for the restanding arches. So that's ideally what you want. Also, the fronts can be draws. I've noticed you can take out pretty quickly with this deck actually, so you have to be very careful. You go through your deck pretty fast since you're drawing so much. But I noticed that the fronts can be kind of scary too. So if you feel like you're not getting enough hand advantage, you can go the draw route and you'll be perfectly fine too. And then this is another 7 crit 4 heals. The crit and the heal on the top like that. Like if you just look at it from a different angle, the clouds are very. Guys, that's pretty much the deck. I'll show you guys a Mulligan run, but that's the majority of the deck. Alright, so I changed my board a little bit just so we can have like a little bit of a quick Mulligan game. So let's see here. Wow, let's send all 5 of those back. It was quite Like the hand we got there. That's okay. That's a way better hand. Sometimes it happens. I find the Kyoka, and I'm going first. The Great Duke. I found the 2, so I'm not really bad at that. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going second. So boop boop. My opponent already rode. We'll discard this, right into the Grade 1, draw a card. We'll actually just here, and we check our front, and then it's opponent's turn. They'll get damage. Our turn. We'll discard this right into the 2, and we'll declare 1. Oh, sorry, that's a 3. Whoopsie. We'll declare 2, and we'll use our skill to declare 1. Hopefully we hit. We do hit, so we'll actually grab the. We'll grab the PG. Here you can have you can start having some fun here. This is when you can start applying the order skill. First, we're gonna go ahead and call Melty. Melty skill to call card and draw card. I was really hoping to find a Grade 1 and we didn't. I'm actually really sad. So actually in this scenario, I'm actually not gonna use the order skill. I normally do, but because we didn't find another Grade 1, it's kind of just like the draw is just so massive. Draw matters that much, so I guess we'll just swing raw and another Melty, swing with our rears. And then they'll give us a damage. Now it's our turn. It was an Archie. It's really draw a card. We'll pitch. Oh, we'll pitch this to ride her, and then we really need an Archie since we are going second. Oh yeah, we need to do the effect Counter Blaster to our deck for this. So I guess we're not playing. We're not doing Archie. We're gonna have a very vanilla turn here, unfortunately, but we don't have a choice. I'm tempted to declare 3. With Kyoka's skill, because we should be able to find one. Oh, we'll have to see here. So yeah, we got this one in hand, and then we're not doing anything else this turn. We're gonna have a very vanilla turn here. We'll go ahead and activate her Soul Blast. We've seen a lot of 1s, and a decent amount of 2s. We should declare 1, but I'm gonna be risky. I'm gonna declare 3. Hey, there's a 3. Ooh, got a lot of stuff. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and grab Persona. Well, though we could grab this for, you know what, we'll grab this for the condition. She goes to the board. This will give us the counter charge, and then we're gonna guess we'll just call. And then we'll activate the order skill here, so we'll draw 2, discard 1, and then we'll counter charge, and we'll give 10k some. We can give it anywhere, we'll just give it here. We don't have Archie, well, we do now, but it's kind of weird now to her, so I think we'll just chill here and just so we'll swing, nothing too special, and then we'll swing with our rears, check our top card, put it to the bottom, and then we'll just proceed to opponent's turn. They'll probably give us quite a bit of damage. We do have abilities to guard, so probably guard, PG out something, maybe guard a little bit more, maybe even intercept here, and then we'll go to our turn. We'll draw a card, and we'll. Oh, we don't have Persona. Wow, this is a very bad mulligan. this mulligan sounds so good earlier, and now it's like the more I'm playing it, the worse it sounds. So I guess we'll Counterblast draw. I was really hoping to find an Archie, but we did not find an Archie. Let's see if we find an Archie this time. Soul Blast, we'll reveal a 2. We'll declare 2. There's our Archie. There she is. And she does come to the board, so I guess we'll just say screw the Melty and put her here. And now we're kind of stuck in a really weird spot here. We'll have to see what we do here. So we'll play this first. And we'll draw 2. Discard. Discard 1. Give 10k to one of these, and then we'll countercharge. And then I'm actually going to shove this into Soul and go ahead and so we have a Soul condition, and we don't have to. Just choose a grade 2 greater. It does say have to, so we actually have to. I guess we'll stack Melty on top. And then we'll call another grade 1. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll swing with the rears first. We give the 10k to one of these off the skill. And then we'll do this. We have to draft check first. So we'll check, wow, really bad stuff. And then we'll Soul Blast 2 and restate both of them. And then we'll swing with each of them and then use Eileen's skill. We'll put this back to the bottom. And my opponent's turn. I don't think we're going to live another turn because that was really rough, but we might. We do heal. So maybe the heal is our saving grace here. Take another damage. Oh, an over trigger. Never mind. Never mind. We definitely live. We definitely live. Okay, we live. So the opponent might kill off our rears here, which is very bad for us. So we'll just go ahead and say they do kill off our rears. We will Persona again. Persona, draw. Oh, here's another heal. So we definitely weren't dying. Never mind. We were not dying today. So now here comes Jennifer. So first we'll use this skill. We'll put Archie on top. Sorry, you guys can't see my deck. I just put top with So soul scale, and then we'll go ahead and call Archie over here, call Jennifer back here, and use her skill. We'll Soul Blast, reveal our thing, and then we can grab a magazine here, or we can grab the Archie. I'm actually going to go ahead and grab the magazine here. It'll save us the trouble of having to use the Jennifer skills. And then we'll just proceed into our normal circumstances. I was originally going to use this effect, but now we don't need to since we did find the order. So let's go ahead and activate this. We won't get the extra 10k, but we do get to draw 2 cards and discard 1. And then we'll swing with Archie. We're under Persona, so swing, and then we'll swing with Van. Do our 2 checks, another crit on the front, nice, and then we'll Soul Blast, Counter Blast, we stand Archie, and then we'll proceed back here, and then we'll fight and use Eileen's skill, and then put this, and then we'll probably die. Yep, and that's it. And that's how you play the deck. That was the whole thing. I kind of sped through that, but that's because I played this deck a lot. And this is our hand. So we honestly probably would have lived another turn. I love Kyoko. I think it's a very fun deck. I think it's very unique. Also very strong. There's also, by the way, something I didn't mention this throughout the video, but there's so many ways to build this deck. The way I built it is not the only way to build it because it's so easy to be, since you are constantly tuning between a 1 and a 2 or 3. So you're tuning 1, 2s, and 3s. You can run this deck in so many different ways that this deck is definitely like, this is just one of many ways, which is what I love about it. So as more support comes, she's so generic, aside from Archie herself. Archie's the only card that's like something you want to run, but everything else is like flex slots. So you can like go crazy with this deck and just run like so crazy stuff if you want. If there's any new cards that come out, they're even more generic. If you can run them, Yuika works in this deck too. You can run Yuika. There's just so much room for this deck to run stuff that you can just go ahead and just experiment for days. And I think that's the funnest part about this deck is the fact that there's so much room for experiment. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Zorga. There is like no like perfect deck. There's like always room for like for changing it up or changing how she plays. Kind of budgety. If you remove the Eileen's, it's pretty budgety. So kind of budget deck out there, so you can try it out, have fun, all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, bye.